technologist, and he's our chief technology guru. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. What do we got today?
Hey, well, we got some actual space stories, which
Yeah.
are always fun. But let's start with just a quick announcement that broke in the last 24 hours. You've probably seen Verizon customers, 6 million Verizon customers' data has leaked. Verizon has had yet another data leak.
That's not
This
good.
includes names, addresses, phone numbers, and in some cases, pens. So what I recommend, just like always, every time this happens, which is happening more and more frequently, it seems, go out there and change your password. If you're a Verizon customer today, if you could be one of those 6 million, I'd say, yeah, it doesn't hurt anything changing your PIN, changing your password a little bit. I know it's annoying, but it's a lot less annoying than having, your credit card stolen and having to deal with that down the road. So, just something to say. So, all right, let's go straight to the space stuff. There's been crazy space stories this week. First, a private space company, kind of like SpaceX, there's more and more of these, called Moon Express, has actually announced plans that they're going to start sending these robotic rovers to Mars to to the moon to mine stuff off of the moon. And you might be wondering, what are they going to mine on the moon? Like, if there's no gold, is it cheese, right? What's up there? Well, actually, what it is the ice that's on the moon. And here's what they're planning to do, because what is ice? It's water. But if you break down water, it's hydrogen and oxygen, which are the components of rocket fuel. So their plan is to set up like a permanent robotic little colony on the south pole of the moon and start creating this hydrogen and oxygen to create rocket fuel in order to be essentially the gas station for our solar system. Because then they could refuel rockets, they could launch rockets from space, which is a lot less of an issue than launching them
because gravity being what it is, it's
exactly. And then the other thing people don't think about is transporting liquid like fuel is really expensive because you can't really compress it, and it's very heavy. And so having the ability to mine it up there is very interesting. And this is something that it's not really that far off. They're going to be sending their first rover, the first robotic lander this year, in order to try to capitalize. Google had put out a Lunar X Prize.
Yes.
First private company to land on the moon. We get $20 million. So they're trying to qualify for that. But they're also got, besides that, 2020 is their aim for a sample return mission. So one of their rovers can actually fit their smallest rover in the center, and it lands on the moon, and it can actually collect samples off the moon and then shoot the smaller rover back off, and it can come back to Earth.
That's amazing. Let's get to number 2 here. What's number 2?
Number 2, just an interesting story. We had actually talked about teleportation back about a year ago on this show when scientists had managed to teleport some photons of light for about a couple kilometers. Well, they broke the record. Chinese scientists that have continued to work on this were able to teleport a photon 300 miles from a ground-based laboratory to a satellite in space.
What is a photon?
So a photon is a massless particle that is generally associated with light. So a light particle.
So it's a part of an atom. Is it part of an atom?
No, it's its own. It is an atom, if you will. It's a particle of light, if you will. And so what they were able to do is literally teleport it from one place to another as far as its information. So really what this means, this is not really like Star Trek teleportation.
This is not like Beam Me Up, Scotty.
It's very close. It's like our current real-life version of that. The only problem is current science says that basically you have to kill the person right as you teleport them to actually teleport them. But with this, it's like instant data transmission. So imagine...
Don't we have that now, kind of?
Kind of, but it's not instant. Everything, there's latency, there's lag. Even if you're talking to the other side of the world, there might only be 1 or 2 milliseconds lag. But if you talk to the moon or you talk to Mars, so they might say, it might take 2 minutes for their commands to get to the rover.
Right.
And as you go farther and farther in space, it's more and more and more time. This is absolutely instantaneous communication at any distance. So imagine you had a pen in one hand, and when you wrote with one hand, there's another equal pen, and it made the exact same motions as you're writing.
Right.
And no matter the distance, or 300 million miles, or at the end of the universe. That's what's crazy about something called quantum entanglement, is it doesn't matter the distance between them.
There is no end to the universe. Or is
that's highly debated.
There you go. Larry talking about transporting photons and coming back from the moon with rocket fuel. That's why you're the best. Larry from First Rule, Larry Stennebeck. Thanks, buddy. Good stuff today.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.